Hey y'all, what is going on? This is Jesse Both from the 19th hole. We've got the rookie playthrough for the third anniversary tournament here. These are the tournament wins, and I'm going to show you how I played these holes on my first look. I'm going to show you the looks over a few different accounts and with some different club options and paths. So we're starting out with hole number 1, par 3. This one you can play with the Viper or Sniper. I would recommend going with the Quasar or Katana ball here on this hole. So the first time you see me play this one here, it's going to be with the Viper. We use 5 bars of right spin. We're going to use the top of that shadow kind of as our aiming point with our red ring at the edge of the rough line. We're going to go with just a tick of backspin here. I would recommend that you only go with the 5 right spin and no top spin or right spin on this hole whatsoever. You're just going to use that tailwind to kind of help you push that ball with its extended ball guide. So we're going to go with about a half ball of curl right here with the Quasar. We hit this one perfect. It's going to come in and bounce nicely. That second bounce is going to be right there along the edge of the fringe and the green. That's where you want that second bounce to be at. It comes in and rolls, and as you see, come in just a bit short to the right of the hole. So if we hadn't had that little bit of right spin, I think we would have had that little bit of backspin. I think we would have been really close on the ace right there. So for my second example here, I'm playing with a Sniper here. Also going with the Quasar ball again. We use the top of that shadow kind of as our reference point with our red ring on the edge of the rough line. We're going to go with 5 right spin again, but this time we go with no top spin or back spin overall with this shot. We set up our shot here. I would move that yellow ring a little bit farther up, more to the top part of that shadow. But what you're going to actually see here is I'm actually going to save myself with a great left. I really would have liked my shot to have been aimed a little bit farther up to the edge of that top part of the shadow, and that great left actually helped me out. As you can see, we roll down the hill and into the hole for the ace. So yeah, just make sure the top part of that shadow is your reference point, and don't be too far deep into that shadow when you are lining your shot up. Hole number 2 here, par 4. I'm going to show you how to play this one to the right side and to the left side. The first way we're going to be playing this one is to the right side with the quarterback option, and we'll be playing plus 10% for the elevation here. And with the quarterback, I would recommend going with a Katana ball. You could also go with the Kingmaker if you want to here, but we want that full right spin, so we need that side spin 3 stat. Full top spin, full right spin. And what I did was I pushed my shot to where the red ring was on the around the edge of the rough line in OP, and then I let it drop back. I made my adjustment. I pushed up my shot, and then we're going to go with about a ball and a quarter of curl here on this shot. And you could probably get away with only going with about a ball of curl. I think would be completely okay. You saw we were definitely far enough away from that bunker, but we did land a little bit closer to the edge of that fairway and rough than we would have liked to. So maybe you can move your setup point a little bit farther off the rough line than I had mine set up. So for the second shot here, playing plus 10% with the Viper. Also could use a Sniper here. Going to be playing this shot right about mid club. It's always important to find your max, and then figure out where you want to play your shot. For here, we're playing mid club. We're using our backspin and left spin here to avoid having to adjust down into that bunker or into the rough line. That left spin allows us to be able to not adjust as far left as we would if we didn't use that left spin. We hit this one perfect, and we were about 1 bar of backspin too much here. As you can see, we had a really good line to the hole, but we were just a tad heavy on the backspin that we used. But definitely a good setup, and just make an adjustment to that backspin number, and you'll have a really good chance to drop that shot from that location. So the second way that we're going to play this hole is to the left side with the extra mile, and then I'm going to show you the second shot with a Viper and a Sniper, just so you all can see what they look like with each of those 2 clubs. Max top and right hand spin right here. we're going to make our adjustment for our wind plus 10% elevation, and then we're not going to worry about overpowering the shot at all. We're just going to take a regular power shot with our extra mile 5. We're not even going to push up our shot at all. And this right here, playing it this way, guarantees to leave us in wood range for our second shot. If you would like to try to go farther up the fairway with some right curl and overpower, you can get up into long iron distance for the second shot as well. But I like to be able to play this one consistently with my wood club. So as you can see, with our wood, we're going to be almost right at min distance with our wood club. First of all, we have our sniper here. So we're playing this one with the Quasar ball. And what we're going to do here is we're just trying to find that ball guide, which is right about between 0.5 and 1 bar of backspin. As you can see, we're going to find that nice landing zone here on the rough with that ball guide trailing just front of the hole. I'm going to let that tailwind hopefully finish the job and push that one into the hole for us. We made our adjustment. We hit great, but you're going to see this ball comes in very nicely off the bounce, exactly where we aimed it, and without that great right, we would have been very close to sinking that shot for the eagle. So for the second attempt here, you're going to see me playing this one with a Viper, and it's going to be pretty much the same thing. I'm going to play this shot, towards the hole. Unfortunately, with the Viper, you don't have quite the same ball guide as you do with the sniper. But it's going to be the same theory with the backspin, about 0.5 to 1 bar of backspin and a little bit of right spin. And then you just got to kind of aim this one as best as you can to the hole, keeping in mind that the ball guide is going to be very, very small. So definitely, don't start thinking, oh, I need to add topspin to this shot. If you do that, you will roll probably through the green and into the rough. Just trust that 0.5 to 1 bar of backspin number on the shot. And we hit that one perfect. That one just is a matter of not having quite the same type of ball guide to aim the shot. Hole number 3, par 5. This one right here is a berserker and a big topper hole. I'm going to show you playing it with this account first, and then I'm going to show you playing it with a big topper 1. So keep in mind the differences between the big topper 1 to big topper 4. A big topper 1 is 205 yards, a big topper 4 is 217 yards. So playing this shot with the Titan and a big topper 4 is possible. Very possible, but it's going to probably require a little bit of overpower. And, the reason why I'm not a big fan of the Titan on this hole with this club is because you're trying to guess the amount of overpower you need. If you guess incorrectly and you do too much, then you end up in that rough. So with the berserker here, we can just play this shot and not have to worry about the overpower. We make our adjustment, we push back up, and we just hit this one regularly. We can put maybe a little tiny bit of overpower on this, but other than that, you just hit it regular, worry about hitting perfect with full topspin. Then this one's going to go way up the fairway, as you can see. No issues, and then it's going to give you a much easier second shot with the berserker. We played plus 10% on the drive. We'll play 0% for the second shot here. So with the berserker, we got all this extra distance. As you can see, more than enough distance with our big dog. We actually could probably go at this hole a little bit. So keep that in mind. The berserker definitely gives you the option. If you play it to the right-hand side here, you can not have to worry about the rough and just try to run this one up to the hole. But the best way to go for the albatross is to run it through the rough and roll it out of the rough. So you want some topspin here, at least 4 topspin. And then you want that second bounce to be in the rough to roll out of the rough. So you want to make sure that you do use enough topspin and then just adjust your shot, because if you don't use enough topspin, you will end up and stick in that rough. We hit great left here. It's going to be okay. We're still going to roll out of the rough quite nicely. We're just not going to have quite the same chance to roll it onto the green and maybe get the drop. So that was playing it with the big topper 4 and the big dog. And then we just chip this one in. Very makeable chip right here. This green can sometimes be a little bit glitchy, so definitely be careful about that when you are trying to line up your chip, especially if you try to go with like a full topspin type chip. on this particular shot. All right, so you're going to watch me play this one, this time with the Big Topper 1. And you're going to see it's definitely 100% necessary to use the Berserker here. If you try to go with this one with the Titan, I don't know that you would be able to, successfully do it. I think the Big Topper and the Berserker is definitely necessary on this hole, especially with such a low-level Big Topper. But you're going to see, we can still achieve a very good drive here. We do need to use a little bit of overpower to make up for that differential as far as the yardages go between the Big Toppers. But you see, you don't have to go fully overpowered to a point where it's tough to hit somewhere around that perfect spot, So 399, almost 400 yards, definitely really good. Now, lower level big dogs, you don't have quite the topspin that you need to guarantee yourself to pop through this rough. But you're going to use your full topspin here, and you're going to try to push into overpower. You're going to have to overpower this shot. So you see we're about 2 rings into overpower for that shot. So we're going to make our adjustment here, and then we're going to push up 2 rings for this shot. And as you can see, when I make my adjustment, I need to go a little bit over 1 ring of overpower, and I don't quite get to that 1 ring of overpower. I actually underpower that shot, and you're going to see because of that underpower, this ball is not going to actually hit the rough and roll through like I would want it to. If I had more rings of topspin, more bars of topspin to use, we would have been fine. But because of the underpower, we don't roll through. So make sure you overpower the shot enough. Hole number 4 here, par 3. Playing this one at plus 15%, using a Quasar ball and a Viper. Definitely could use a sniper here on this hole as well. We're playing this one back around mid-distance with our Viper, with our red ring right there on the edge of the rough line. And we're going with at least 3 bars of backspin and 4.5 bars of right spin, which is full right spin with the Quasar ball. You could definitely opt to use a katana here if you would like, but definitely not completely necessary. We are going to use our curl here. I would normally say go with about half a ball of curl to the right. We didn't quite go full half a ball of curl to the right, but we did hit great right, so that kind of made up for our lack of curl on the shot. So either, make sure that you do go your full half a ball of curl, or bring the katana ball and add that extra right spin if you don't want to go with as much curl. But we got the drop, and sometimes it's better to be lucky than not lucky. Hole number 5 is next. This one is a par 4. I'm going to show you how to play this one 2 different ways. The first way we're going to play it is kind of the safe way, with just bouncing it over with the Titan ball. We're going to go with 4 topspin and a little bit of left spin on the shot, and we're just going to make our adjustment here at plus 10% and then push back up to max distance, and then hit this one perfect. It's a very simple, straightforward drive, and there's not a whole lot you need to do here for this one. I did not push back up to full power there, but I would definitely suggest to push back up to full power on that shot to get a little bit farther up the fairway and put yourself in a little bit better position for your second shot. Alright, so for the second shot here, we're going with the rough bump. We'll be playing this one with the Goliath. It's definitely necessary to have the Goliath here. And, the key to this one right here is to land this one, fairly close up to the edge of the rough line. So we're going to be playing this one pretty close to mid-distance here on this shot. And you want to land this one up to the edge of the rough line. At least probably 5 bars of topspin here on this shot. And the trick is to get this ball, you don't really want to see a ball guide all the way to the hole like that right there. Because when you see that ball guide all the way to the hole and through the hole, that means you're probably going to skip out and kind of hit a glitch. So you're going to see me here on this one. I didn't land this one quite close enough to the edge, and as you see, we get that kind of that roll out. But it's still not a bad shot right here. It's going to be a tough shot to drop, and if you get lucky and drop it, at least 1 or 2 times, then it's definitely successful in my opinion. So you're going to see me play it again this time. On this drive, I actually pushed my shot up, so I'm a little bit closer to the mid distance. as you can see, we're landing the shot a lot closer to the edge of that rough line there, and we're not going to get quite of that glitchy ball guide that you saw previously. So you want to aim it towards the hole as best as you can here, and then you're just going to make your adjustment for the wind at mid-distance, 0% elevation for the shot. And hit this one great to the right, unfortunately. But you're going to see how this one hits, and it's a much nicer controlled roll towards the hole, so it definitely gives you a chance to drop it if you get that one perfectly hit. Alright, hole number 5, I'm going to show you this one more time. I'm going to show you how to play this one to the right-hand side with the big topper, and set yourself up for a shot with your thorn and full backspin at the hole. So with the big topper 4, we're going with the berserker ball. It's absolutely necessary to use a berserker on this hole. If you have lower level big toppers, you can play this shot still, but you may need to use a little bit of overpower when you are playing your shot with lower level big toppers because of that discrepancy in yardage as far as the power goes with the big topper. We make our adjustment here, plus 10%, then we're going to push back up to full power. And then with this shot right here, we're going to use some right curl, a little bit over 1/2 of a ball, and we hit this one perfect. This one's going to hit, bounce, and as you're going to see, it's going to roll quite nice and right through that rough and into the fairway. Sometimes your ball may stick in that rough, sometimes it may roll through like mine did. It's a tricky shot, and I don't believe it's a 100% consistent way to play this hole. But if you are able to get the shot through, you are going to be looking at a nice looking thorn shot. As you can see, we're going to play this one with full back, so we're going to put a little bit of right spin on this one. And you know, want to make sure you offset this one, unlike I do. I offset it a little bit, but I need to offset it more. I would offset this one probably about 1 square left of the hole. As you see, I only got about 1/2 a square left of the hole on this one. Actually, when I made that last adjustment is when I messed up right there. I didn't even realize that until just now. So just go max backspin, 1 right spin on the shot. And definitely offset this one a little bit farther left of the hole than I did. But you see it came in real nicely with that backspin. It was the perfect amount of backspin to spin it back into the hole if I had set up the adjustment correctly. Alright, we got our next hole here. Hole number 6, par 5. We're going to play this one to the right-hand side. I'm going to go with a berserker ball to avoid having to overpower my second shot with the big dog. So we're going with max right spin and 1 bar of backspin here for this shot. As you're going to see, you know, we don't need this full bar of backspin, but it's a little bit safer to play it with the 1 bar of backspin in my opinion. But you don't absolutely have to go with it. If you're confident with the way you play your shot, you can go with probably, I would say, 1/2 to no spin at all. 1/2 a ball of curl here on this one with the extra mile. You can also play this one with the quarterback. Would be another great way to play this hole. And as you see, we roll up, and not too bad. I would probably like to be a little bit closer to about that 300 mark on the drive. With 300 yards, it's going to give me a little bit better of an opportunity here on this hole. But as you can see, at 292, I'm still in a good spot without having to overpower my second shot to be able to play this hole. So we'll take it. We're going to go with at least 2 bars of topspin. I would say somewhere between 2 to 3 topspin and a little bit of left spin on this hole. I would try to line this one up as close far left as you can without you know, risking hitting that rock. Because a great right, as you see me hit, is still going to be okay, but it's just so close to that bunker. It kind of made me a little bit nervous for a second there. But good hit up there, and we'll get the easy eagle. Hole 7, par 3 here. We'll play this one at plus 20% here for our elevation change. We're going to go with 1 top spin and 1 left spin. We're going to play with the marlin ball and our backbone. Now, we only go 1 top, 1 left. I think I would suggest going with 1 top and 2 left on this shot, unless you are willing to offset your ball guide more left of the hole. So I put my orange ring there at the rough line, and I basically try to aim my ball guide right at the hole. And this one was with 1 top and 1 left. We play this one at max adjustment even though it's not max distance. You still just play it at max. Because this one's going to come in nicely, but it's still going to come in to the right of the hole. And I think, you know, instead of going with more of an offset left of the hole, I think I would just add an extra bar left spin. So 1 top, 2 left for that shot. Hole number 8, par 4. We're playing this one with an extra mile. You can play this one with the quarterback as well. And I'm going to use a quasar ball. You could use a katana ball as well on this hole. We're going to go with our extra mile here. I would definitely bring your backbone and your thorn or your hornet if you have the hornet here, but you're most likely to be playing a backbone shot. So we're going to play this shot with top spin and right spin. I'm going to put about half of my orange ring in the rough, and we're going to be playing this one between mid and min distance. It's a little bit closer to mid than min, but I played it pretty much at 25% distance of the club. So we made the adjustment. We're going to put a little bit of right curl, about half a ball on this one. Great right is probably the one you don't want to hit. We do get fortunate here and just barely roll out. And we're still going to be okay here at this position at 270. I would definitely like to hit that fairway clean and get a little bit farther down that fairway. But at 270, we're still going to be okay. We're going to be playing this one pretty much at mid-club here on this one. And we're going to be playing plus 10% on this shot because we are so far back in that fairway. If we were farther up in the fairway, I'd play at 0%. But being so far back, we'll play plus 10. So we find our ball guide here with just a little bit of room between the end of that ball guide and the cup. And we are going to adjust this one for mid-distance at plus 10% from this location. We hit this one perfect. It's going to come in nicely. It's going to bounce perfectly where we aimed it, and it's going to roll in for the eagle. So we play that one perfect to the tee. But just remember, you know, if you bounce rough and you roll out, you're still okay to play the shot. I would just play at plus 10% as opposed to the 0% if you're farther up in that fairway. All right, our last and final hole here, hole number 9. I'll be playing this one to the right-hand side, trying to set up a big dog shot. So I would definitely recommend, you know, if you have berserkers, to go with the berserker here, but you can use a Titan ball and be okay. The difference is, with a Titan ball, you're looking at having to overpower your second shot, as opposed to just hit it regular. So decide on which way you want to play it. You know, the drive is going to work out pretty much the same no matter what ball you use, but the second shot is where you're going to see the difference as far as what ball you choose. So going max right spin and at least, you know, 3 to 4 bars of backspin here. You know, definitely, you know, look at that ball guide and, you know, trust that shot to go a little bit farther past that ball guide with the push from the tailwind. So definitely, you know, make sure you judge that ball guide correctly. We are going to play about a half a ball of curl right here on this shot. And as you saw, when I lined up the shot, my red ring was at the edge of that rough line. We come in pretty close here, but you know, I feel confident with that shot. If you don't feel comfortable playing that close to the edge, then you can just back up that red ring along that rough line a little bit extra. So with the berserker here, you see we have plenty of distance to play this shot. Otherwise, with the Titan, you're either going to use more topspin or overpower the shot. You have to decide which way you want to play it with the Titan, but you can still play the shot with the Titan. I just like to not have to overpower my shots when I set them up, so that's why I decided to go with the berserker, and I felt like that just gave me an easier second shot to the hole and a little bit more of a controlled shot without having to overpower. We're going to bounce here quite nicely. As you're going to see, we're going to roll perfectly onto that green, and down the slope we go. It's going to put us right there next to the edge of that hole for a very easy eagle putt. So if for some reason you do end up short of the green, all hope is not lost. You still have a very easy makeable wedge chip. So for the wedge chip, you know, we'll play this one at plus 10% because it is downhill. You have a pretty nice little tailwind at your back here. So we're going to go with top spin here, and then we want to just straighten the ball guide out, you know, to a straight line. and you just want to, aim this one at the hole. You want to try to leave you room enough for like a little bit of a rollout on the shot. You don't want to get too close to the hole, but don't want too far away where the ball doesn't make it there. So we did use the top spin and we did use the left spin to straighten out this shot. So we make our adjustment here at max, and that will change depending on where you're at for your shot. So definitely, figure out what distance club you are in before you do make that adjustment. But as you can see, we drop it. It's a fairly easy little wedge chip from there, so definitely not anything to worry about if you do come up a little bit short. Thank you for joining me for this rookie playthrough for the 3rd anniversary tournament. Hopefully you all have a great qualification and you enjoyed this video. Find me on Facebook at Golf Clash the 19th Hole. Hit that thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to the channel. Have a great day and God bless.